So if you know that you're going out for a long day, so you're not going to be able to be getting home within an hour, I would suggest, because you can change your bag whilst you're out and still have output on your clothes and get home. But if you're out for the whole day, that's not something that you're gonna, it's not acceptable really for you to have to be under those conditions. So if you're going out for a long day, what I would suggest is you put a spare pair of whichever clothes is going to be directly in contact with your colostomy. So if you, or ileostomy, or whichever, if you've got a long top on and you're pulling trousers or skirt over that, then take a spare top. If you have trousers or a skirt next to the colostomy and a top over the top of that, then take a spare pair of bottoms. I would say just take something very thin for ladies' leggings. I mean, to be honest, for men leggings or cycling shorts, they don't have to be long versions. So what that's going to be for is when you go to the bathroom or the facilities, you're going to be taking off the item of clothing that is affected. Now you can either put that in a bag and remain with your spare pair of clothes to deal with when you get home, but if you want to remain in the outfit that you were wearing, you can put your spare thin bottoms or spare clothing on whilst you deal with any output issues on your clothing. So what I would suggest is you change into the spare clothing whilst you wash the original piece of clothing. Now you could either rinse the stain out and put it in a bag and take it home, but what you don't want to do is you don't want to let the output dry, because I do feel that's a situation where maybe that's going to ruin your clothing. So whether or not you choose to just change in your clothing or wash out the area that's the problem and rewear it, it still needs washing out. Don't leave it to dry on your clothing. Again, the out and about bag, I've got a link to that, I'll pop it in the description. So that's things that you would need to take with you when you go on a day out anyway. But I didn't mention the spare piece of clothing, and I also didn't mention the bags, the disposable bags. So just bear that in mind when you watch that video, that those two items are missing from that video. If you've had a leak, the first thing I would suggest is not to panic, because normally only you can smell it, and secondly, if you act quickly, I mean, ileostomy may be slightly different because it's more fluid, so it can travel quicker. But say for, I've got a colostomy and my output is like sort of like porridge, so I've got a little bit of time, and that flow rate is going to be slower. But if you know, the quicker you get to a bathroom to remedy the issue, the better. So yeah, so don't panic. You have time. Don't let it affect your mental health either. And I know it's very easy for me to say, but it comes with experience. So don't let your challenges define who you are. Let your overcoming of your challenges define who you are. Because whatever life has thrown at you so far, you've got a 100% survival rate. You know, you are succeeding. Even if you feel like you're succeeding poorly, you are still succeeding. And so you are an overcomer. You are a survivor. So keep that survivor mentality. And a leak whilst you're out is just another one of those things, like an infection that you need antibiotics for, or you know, a surgery that you weren't anticipating. You meet a challenge, you overcome the challenge, and that's what makes you you, that's what makes you strong. And the more overcoming you do, the more hurdles you overcome, the stronger you become. So see this as a positive mindset that you can develop. The other thing I wanted to mention is, does everybody have an I need to go to the toilet card? I got mine from my supplier, and it just basically, it's a card in the UK. You can show it to a member of staff in a any setting, and they have to let you use their facilities, even if they're private facilities. By law, they have to. So have your card with you all the time, and that's just a little bit of peace of mind. And you know, if you haven't got one, get one. Definitely, they're free. So you're in the facilities now. You should be in the disabled facilities, which has the toilet and the sink in it, so you're not having to go in and out of cubicles. The other thing is, do you all have radar keys? So in the UK, a radar key just means that you can access disabled toilets. You are entitled to having a radar key if you're having continence problems or any kind of condition like this. So make sure you've got a radar key as well. But yeah, so go to the disabled facilities, and then you can get changed. And then usually when you have a leak on your clothing, you leak in one particular place, so there will be a small area of output. We're not having to clean the entire garment. This is where I'm going with this. So let me see if I can. I'll tell you what. I'll use this. I've got a wipe here for some reason. Right. So imagine that this is your output stained clothing. So what you're going to do is you're going to bunch it up like that. This is where the stain is, and you're just going to focus all your attention on this, okay? Some of the water and stuff will seep this way, but most of it's going to stay on this bit. Wash it, use soap, rinse it through, do whatever you need to do to manipulate the fibres to get the output out. And then, because you're not going to have a massive area of wet fabric, use the hand dryer in the toilets. You know, some of them they just go down, and the other ones now they've got these Dyson blades. But you can use either. You can use any of them. All you need to do, all you need to do is activate the airflow and wait till it's dried the piece. One thing I would say is make sure that the output is completely out before you dry it, because you're going to be setting that stain otherwise. If you can't get the stain out completely, it might be worth just accepting that you need to keep the other pair of clothes on. Put your soiled piece of clothing that's been rinsed and washed as best you can into one of the disposable bags to keep it moist until you get home, because again, we don't want that stain to dry out. I feel like I'm doing a laundry special today. So catch it early, use your nose, check anyway, it's better to change your bag if you think you need to than risk a leak. Make sure that you've not rushed in the morning with preparing before you come out. Take a spare piece of clothing that's going to be next to the bag, and make sure that you at least rinse any output off to the best of your ability and keep that moist until you can get home and put it straight in the wash. I hope this has been of some help, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye!